Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Noble and welcome to an ESO video. Today guys, I am going to be breaking down the top 3 beginner classes you guys should play if you are new to the Elder Scrolls Online. There's a lot of people coming back to the game with some potential hype for the Stonethorn Q3 DLC, so I wanted to make this video not just for them, but for you guys if you have never played ESO and you are wondering what kind of class you want to play. This is purely my opinion list. I am basing this, tier list on self-healing, DPS, and overall support, so feel free to disagree with me in the comments, but at least tell me why. Guys, before we get into the video, YouTube tells me that over 90% of you are not subscribed to the channel, so what are you doing? Hit that subscribe button, hit like on the video so I can get this pushed out to as many new ESO players as possible. I also run a podcast called Scroll Talk, you can find that on Spotify, but guys, without further ado, let's get into my top 3 beginner classes you should play in the Elder Scrolls Online. Coming in guys, here at number 3 we have the Necromancer class. Now this is one of the latest classes that was added to the game back in 2019, but that's not really super important when it comes to this list. The Necromancer is great for new players because it really focuses on all 3 roles, whether you're going to be a damage dealer, a tank, or a healer. So how I would usually, level this character, you can get the Render Flesh in the Living Death skill line. That is your heal, your self-heal. It can also heal other people. That will help you if you're doing this stuff solo. If you need good DPS, you have things like Blast Bones and Venomous Skull to, really deal, good damage. And to protect yourself, you have Bone Tyrant, which is the tank skill line, and those things really come into play when you're leveling. Like Bone Armor, for example, is one of my favorite abilities to use when I'm leveling, because it gives you that extra protection, health, and tankiness, right? Like, you want to have that tankiness, especially if you're leveling solo and you haven't found a guild to play with it. The Necromancer is also really fun to play. I mentioned Blast Bones. It is really cool summoning a skeleton out of the ground and watching it hurl itself towards your enemy and exploding on impact. So if you are looking to have heals for yourself, good damage, and kind of zombie dead companions, the Necromancer is going to be the class you want to play as your first character in ESO. Moving on to number 2 on this list, guys, it is the Sorcerer class. Now the Sorcerer can do everything, everything in this game can play any role. But the reason why I put Sorcerer here on the number 2 part of this list is it has a really cool skill line called Daedric Summoning. If you want to focus on doing other things and have companions fight for you, you can summon a bunch of these Daedric companions to fight for you. Whether you are leveling as a healer or you're just trying to mess around with certain skills, you can have the Daedric pet to do a lot of the damage for you. You also can use your Restoration Staff if you want to level up some heals, and there are some morphs that allow pets to do healing as well, but this is more of I personally would call it a utility class, utility and support. Daedric Summoning, like I said, is going to be the way you want to go if you really, are trying to get used to the combat style, but still want to do some damage. Getting those Daedric pets are going to be super important for you, and they're going to make your life much, much easier. They've got some really cool spammable DPS abilities like Crystal Frags, probably one of my favorite animations in the game. You're just hurling a bunch of these crystal fragments at your enemies and they knock them down the first time, but you can just spam it and it will just look super, super cool. So that's one of my reasons I put Sorcerer number 2 on this list, Crystal Frags. And guys, finally, for the number 1 spot here, I am deciding to go with the Templar. Now, the Templar is overall, in my opinion, one of the strongest classes in the game ever since launch. You have a variety of things here at your disposal. The healing skill line for the Templar is probably the strongest in the game right now, so you should never really be dying, because not only does it provide good self heals, but it provides, group heals as well, even in the lower levels, depending on like how you morph it and all this other good stuff. You have things like the piercing javelin, biting jabs for your DPS and stun capabilities. This is going to make your life so much easier, because biting jabs is your spammable AoE ability that does a lot of damage and can also heal you depending on how you spec. You also can spec into shields, because the Templar is again one of those 3 role type classes where you can do healing, tanking, or DPS. Now, it is important to note that literally every class in the game can do whatever you want it to do, but if you're new and a beginner and don't want to just rely on the restoration staff heals and want class specific heals, you are going to want to go with classes like the Templar or the Necromancer, just to give you a little bit more of simplicity when it comes to leveling. That way you're not always worrying about whether you're leveling your restoration staff or whatnot, when you just have class healing abilities, class tanking abilities, class DPS abilities. So every class has that, but these are my top 3. Anyway guys, that's going to do it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it and found it helpful. If you did guys, like I said, don't forget, hit a like on the video so I can get this out to as many new Elder Scrolls Online players as I possibly can. Don't forget to subscribe. I upload ESO videos every single week geared towards new players and just my overall experience in ESO, so you guys aren't going to want to miss it. Anyway guys, again, thank you so much for watching. My name is Noble, and I will see you guys in the next one.